I hereby call the first meeting of the MDVA Movie Club. Hey, I am Matt. You guys.
I'm Dan.
I wasn't sure which way. I'm Cayla.
And I'm Wyatt.
Hey, this is the MDVA Movie Club. And if you're asking yourself, what the hell is an MDVA Movie Club? Because that is a mouthful. You can just call us the Movie Club, or better yet, the club. This is the club that you're going to want to tell all your friends about and you're going to want to be in because, A, we only have 5 people, only 4 of which are here today because one of us can't make the first premiere debut inaugural episode, but he will be joining us later on, via other stream. So this idea came about because I love talking movies, and you guys, and including Seth, who's not here at this current moment, are the people that I talk to about movies most. So I thought, and I have some real interesting conversations with all of you. In fact, with Seth, I argue with him all the time over movies. Like, we get into actual fights where I hate him for like at least a day. And I literally stopped texting him because I don't want to deal with him anymore. And when he watches this, he's going to be upset. But he knows it's true. But then the next day comes and we get over it. And I was thinking, wouldn't it be awesome if I could take some of those conversations and show them to the world and maybe make some entertainment out of it? And why a club? Why not just a one-on-one conversation? Because it's a conversation for everybody. And I was thinking, and why call it a club? Why not just a podcast? Why not just a YouTube show? Because I think it would be a great idea, how a lot of times you'll have, like, women will have book clubs or, wine clubs or different things where they'll meet up once a week or even maybe semi-weekly or once a month. And hi there. And they will, in the book club, for instance, they will pick a book and they will reconvene the following week or 2 weeks or whatever, and then they will discuss said book. And I was like, that would be awesome if we could do that for film, if we could do that for movies. And that's what we are attempting to do here. This is just an inaugural introduction episode for everybody. We're not going to get real deep into the weeds here, but today, this episode, one of us is going to pick our first movie title that will then be our homework. And then we will watch, and we will provide, probably not this episode, but on the episode that we actually discussed, we will provide where we watched it. So it'll probably be something that has to be like streaming on one of the countless apps. But that's the goal. Everyone here kind of already knows this, but this is me speaking more so for the audience. But we're going to go around the room and kind of just say who we are, our name, which I kind of already touched on, but then let's list our favorite movie of all time and what you're most looking forward to about doing this, hopefully weekly or however often we can get together. So let's start with Wyatt.
All right, my name's Wyatt. Favorite movie? Scooby-Doo 2002. Looking forward to new movies.
Okay.
Very cool. I would not have guessed Scooby-Doo. I knew for sure Lillard would be in it, but I would not have guessed Scooby-Doo.
Well, it's like a tie between The Breakfast Club and Scooby-Doo, but I do like Scooby-Doo more.
In the future, you should just say The Breakfast Club when people ask. All right, Dan and Cayla. I don't care who goes first.
You go.
You sure?
Yeah.
Again, name's Dan. Favorite movie, Nightmare Before Christmas. Always has been, always will be. And as far as reason why I'm being here, just to talk movies with folks who want to see movies, and just like Wyatt, see some new movies too.
Okay. I'm Cayla. My favorite movie of all time is Howl's Moving Castle. It's an animated film. It's wonderful. I'm most looking forward to hearing other people's opinions about movies because I think it's interesting.
Very cool.
And I
very
too
cool.
would probably like to argue with that dude. So I think we would have that in common. So
We are going to argue. This is going to be the View for movies.
yeah.
I guess I didn't say. I'm Matt, and my favorite movie of all time really depends on the day of the week. But more times than not, I tell everyone that it's Stand By Me, the Stephen King, based on the Stephen King book or novella, and it's been my favorite since I was about 13. The other one that I go back and forth on is American History X, is another huge one for me. Both of those, I'm sure all of the ones mentioned, I'm sure we'll cover at some point. So at this time, I'm going to switch it over to Seth. Seth is not here as we're recording this, but Seth will be here by the time you're watching this. So I'm going to switch it over to Seth. Seth, tell us who you are and what your favorite movie is.
My name is Seth, and my favorite movie of all time is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Absolute best movie of all time. I'm most looking forward to trying to expand my horizons in movie watching, and maybe learn a couple new hidden gems, and maybe make a couple friends along the way. I think it's gonna be a pretty cool experience, and I'm looking forward to it. Hope you all enjoy it too.
Thank you so much, Seth. Maybe you'll actually join us next time. We are going to give you crap for missing this first episode. Like, how do you miss the first one? I mean, the whole idea was there's multiple people, so that if one of us has to miss out a week, it's not a huge deal. But the first episode, come on, guy. Anyway, I guess the only thing that's left for this episode is picking what we're going to talk about next episode. Does anyone want to volunteer to pick a movie that everyone else is going to watch?
Are we picking out of like an imaginary hat or?
No, it just off your brain. Now, maybe future episodes we can do like a hat or a randomizer or something, but just something off the top of your head.
The criteria is it's got to be on a streaming service.
Okay. That we all have?
Or something, some way we can all get to it, yes.
Okay. Any time period? Any genre?
I mean, I guess as long as it's not.
I'm horrible at making a decision, so this really should not be left up.
Wyatt,
Wait, are we trying to pick movies we all haven't seen?
Oh yeah, that's true.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if we've seen it or not. It could be something you've seen, but I've not seen. It could be something we've all seen, and we just want to talk about it.
Everybody got Amazon Prime?
Yes.
Y'all seen The Tomorrow War?
Oh yeah, we did watch that.
I have not. I think Seth watched it as well. But I mean, I'm down if we want to do that and talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess one thing we didn't hit on that I wanted to, but it's kind of now we're kind of at the end of the show, is have we seen any? Don't make fun of me. Have we seen any new movies? Has anyone seen anything recently that they really enjoyed? I probably should put this.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep, like Black Widow.
Yeah.
We also saw Snake Eyes.
And how was that?
It was pretty good. It was solid for an action movie. We'll give it that.
Yeah, I've never seen anything or know anything about G.I. Joe, but it was really good. And the dude in it was really good, so I mean, that was a plus. Well, there was 2 dudes, but they were both really good. I enjoyed it.
Really good. But no, a lot of high energy fight scene story thrown in the middle without giving too much away.
Yeah.
Good and evil elements, and a lot what you'd expect with G.I. Joe, explosions and things
Yeah,
of that nature.
it wasn't bad. It was like 2 hours too, so it was definitely like a good movie theater experience.
I don't know that I could sit through a 2-hour G.I. Joe movie.
No, it was good. A lot of depth to it, definitely.
It's an origin story, so
Yeah.
it's giving you the background of Snake Eyes. I don't know, like I've never, like I don't know if you remember the action figures and stuff, like growing up, because I wasn't really familiar with the show, but definitely gives some depth to that, and also a couple other characters in the G.I. Joe universe as well. So
Yep.
Okay. I think we all agree Black Widow was very
Great.
yes, very well done. It was. I went into it with very low expectations, so it wasn't hard to please me. In fact,
Yeah.
it's not very hard to please me at all with anything most of the time.
are we able to talk about Black Widow right now for
Yeah.
a couple
If
minutes?
we want to.
Yeah. Everybody's seen it.
Okay, Black Widow. Okay, let's go first.
I guess I'll go if that's all right.
Cayla, floor is
Right
yours.
ahead.
I think it was a good way to bring back Marvel after the movie theaters have been closed. It was definitely interesting. I wouldn't say I was like blown away by it compared to other Marvel films. But then again, I'm not really a huge Black Widow fan, so I don't know if that really like takes into consideration. But it was definitely really good. Like I said, good way to bring back Marvel into the movie theater, for us.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say probably the same thing. Like going in, didn't have extremely high expectations. Kind of like Cayla, my favorite character in the Marvel universe has been Iron Man. Always, probably again will be. But with Black Widow, I think it did her a lot of justice. It put her in the center. I built her an origin story and gave her a little bit of background and depth. It kind of sucks that the whole lockdown, COVID things happened because what happened in the world, obviously, but also for the movies. I think it took like a longer gap between her sacrifice in the original movie to kind of like giving her like more of a character build up. But honestly, solid movie. I'd go see it probably again. I wouldn't necessarily buy it, but I'd definitely probably watch it again. Kayla's on the opposite fence on me there, but
One and done for me.
I don't know. I didn't mind it.
Out of we want to do out of 5 or out of 10. What would you guys give it?
I'd give it a 7.
say
7
out of 10, I'd probably do an 8.
Okay, Wyatt, your turn.
I don't know. It was pretty good. I thought it wasn't too bad. Fight scenes in it were a lot better than most Marvel movies so far. More realistic, I should say, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I don't know. I was pretty blown away with it, just because I went in with like not very high expectations. Didn't think it was going to be as good as it was.
Yeah.
Plus, like everybody said, Black Widow wasn't really my favorite Marvel hero either. But I tell you what, it made me think differently of her. She was pretty badass. And then with the Red Guardian, definitely one of my new favorites. Like I don't know. I would have to give it about 8.5, maybe 9 out of 10.
Okay. Yeah, I went into it also very low expectations. Not because I thought, oh, this is gonna suck. I mean, it's Marvel. They've proven themselves over the last 10 years or however many years it's been that they don't suck. They can't put out a bad movie yet. I didn't think this was going to be any exception, but it was just not something on my radar. So I knew at some point I was going to watch it. I didn't know I was going to go watch it in the movie theater, but I did. And I got to tell you, those first like 10 10, 15 minutes drained me because I was like, holy crap, this is like deep and way not what I was expecting. Like, I don't want to spoil too much of it because it is kind of new. We're going to spoil the crap out of the Tomorrow War. Okay, I haven't seen it yet, obviously. The Tomorrow War. We're going to talk all about that next week or next time. But Black Widow, the beginning scenes had such a huge impact because I wasn't expecting it. That I was like, okay, you've got my attention. And then the more I just kept watching, the more I liked. And by the time it was over, like, holy crap, like that was really good. That was probably one of the better movies I've seen this year. Out of 10, I'm right around everybody. I'm with like an 8. Was it the best Marvel movie ever? No. Was it the worst? Certainly not. Was it even in the middle? No, I think it's very high up there. Iron Man is everybody's favorite Marvel superhero, and you're lying if you say he's not, because he is the one. Don't make that face. He's the one that started it all. So even if he didn't end up staying that, at one point he was, because he is the reason you went to see Iron Man 2. He's the reason you went to see Hulk and Captain America and the Avengers. It all started with Iron Man. So Iron Man was the backbone of the Marvel franchise and all of those movies for the first 10 years. That's just fact. No brag, just fact.
They had a rumor that he was going to make an appearance in Black Widow. I don't know if you know any details on that, if he had been cut or whatever, like just like a cameo. I don't think it was supposed to be, but I'm wondering if they tried or took him out just because it gave more, emphasis to the fact he had sacrificed himself, or what your thoughts might be on that.
I don't think they filmed it, but I could be wrong.
I think what I heard was they were gonna have like a flashback or something. Technically the whole movie's a flashback.
Mm-hmm.
It takes place right after Civil War. If I can remember correctly,
or it was
going to be
Civil War.
What?
You're right. Sorry, yeah. I was thinking it took place after Endgame, but that would make sense because she would be
alive. But no, I think they were going to have it like towards the beginning when she was running away and stuff like that, where he was going to come in. But I don't ever know whatever happened to it. I remember hearing something about that though.
Yeah, I did too. But again, I don't know if any filming was done or if it was just supposed to be a flashback. I don't know the deets, but I'm okay with it not. If we're gonna keep Iron Man dead, which at this point, spoilers, kids, Iron Man died. If we're gonna keep him dead, then I think we should keep him dead. Like, don't make him flashback up in another movie. Unless it is an actual flashback. Like, don't bring Robert Downey Jr. back to film a new scene and call it a flashback. Like, if it's an actual scene that I've already seen before from something else, then sure, give it to me. But I think we should just keep him out of it if we're going to keep him out of it. And not that I don't want him, but I think people need to stay dead, and because it kind of becomes soap opera-ish when they die and then come back. But that's my 2 cents. The only other thing, nothing, moving on from Black Widow. Oh, no, not moving on. The sister. What was her name?
Yelena, I think.
Yeah.
She was awesome. I would like to see more of her.
I think you definitely are.
Yeah.
But it's kind of hard to talk about Black Widow without talking about Winter Soldier, Captain America, or Falcon rather, Falcon Winter Soldier, just because I think that's all kind of drawing in together, especially if you watch that and then see the ending. I'm not without getting too much.
Gotcha.
But I definitely think we're going to see her again.
Okay. Yes, she stole the show for me. That's really what sealed that whole movie for me.
I think she's going to be in the obviously, I think they kind of made it a point. She's going to appear in the Arrow, or what's his name, Hawkeye. Okay.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I heard that too. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I think she's going to be a big part of that. So
Yeah.
that'll be cool. But give her own movie. I mean,
I
jeez,
know, right?
I would
Yeah.
watch that.
Yeah, me too.
The only other thing that I've seen that Wyatt's taking us on the move.
Yeah, sorry, phone's dying.
I went and saw Old this past week, and I again went into it with no real expectation. Wyatt, quit trying out your camera work and
I'm
just
so sorry.
you're giving me a headache. I went into it with very little expectation because the last several M. Night Shyamalama, Ding Dong. The last several of his movies have not been great. I was not really a fan of Glass. It was all right. I liked Split. I'll give him Split. I wasn't a fan of Glass. I'm not a fan of The Village. I'm not a huge fan of Unbreakable. So
I like Unbreakable.
Yeah, I like Unbreakable too.
but I love The Sixth Sense. I love Signs. I've not seen The Lady in the Water or whatever it is that he did, so I don't know anything about that. But so he's very hit or miss with me. And the trailer for Old grabbed my attention because it was like, oh, that's new. That's an interesting idea. This hasn't been done before. Let's all go to the beach and get old. So I watched it and I went to it and I went by myself, which I haven't done in a long time. And I don't do very often. I went to the movie theater by myself, sat in the theater almost by myself. I was by myself for the longest time. And then like right as the movie was starting, this woman and her grandson came in and sat behind me. But they were good sports. They were quiet. And we all watched the movie together. And it was kind of like, again, I went into it with no expectations. I think that's a lot of times what does it for people with things. If you don't expect nothing, you're going to get something better than what you expect most of the time, unless it just flat out sucks. But this did not. I enjoyed it quite well. It was definitely unlike anything I'd ever seen before. I heard a lot of people saying that it's getting very mixed reviews. I heard a lot of people saying that, oh, well, it just didn't amount to anything, or it didn't have a good conclusion, or it just kind of was a letdown. The twist was a letdown, which if you know M. Night Shyamalan, you know that almost all of his movies have a twist. There was a twist, and I will say it was very minor of a twist. It wasn't like a, oh my God, but it was just like, oh, okay, I see. but I still really liked it, and no one else has seen it, right?
No, but what was your rating?
Out of 10, I'd give it a. I think I told Wyatt this. Maybe it was Seth. I can't recall. I'd say I'd say 6 or 7 out of 10. I don't remember what I initially said, so I don't want to make myself a liar. 6 or 7 out of 10. I'm leaning more towards 7. But 6.5, let's call it in the middle. And but that's by no means saying it's a bad movie because it's not an 8. But it was definitely worth checking out. Maybe not. Maybe don't rush to the theater to see it, but definitely check it out when you can. It's streaming sometime, and I'm sure it will.
I'm not gonna lie, I almost missed the meeting to go see that movie. And then I was like, no.
It's okay. You only missed out at 6.5.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Well, then we would have just had to phone you in like we did Seth earlier. So, but hopefully next week we'll all be here. We'll all be together. We'll have to do another. Well, maybe we'll do that off camera or at least off recording the introduction with Seth, because these two guys over here and this guy down here has not met him, and he hasn't met any of them. So we'll do that. And we're going to watch the Tomorrow War, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And we are going to talk in depth about that and anything else that might be going on in the movie world. Because this is what we do. We are a bunch of nerds that sit around on our phones or computers and talk about movies. And you're just as big of a nerd for hitting play on this video. Think about that. And now we will not get any more views. So I just killed our audience. So that's it for me. I'm Matt. That's Dan and Cayla. That's Wyatt. You saw Seth. You know what? Screw Seth.
Bye, Seth.
Be here in person. So
Seriously.
F off, Seth. No, Seth will be here next week. Until then, everyone have a great week. Have a great movie viewing experience. Everyone love one another, and we'll see you next time.